Hi, and welcome everyone who is watching this video. My name is Karina Lade, and I'm an intuitive channel and healer, and I'm also the co-creator of the No Limits event, a beautiful, inspiring live event that will take place in Brussels, Belgium on March 24th to 26th in 2017. And today I have the great pleasure to introduce you to one of our amazing speakers, Alisoun Mackenzie. Hi, Alisoun.
Hi, Karina. It's great to be chatting with you again. Just wonderful. And thanks so much. Thanks so much for inviting me to be part of this event again. It was wonderful last year. So just so looking forward to it, and obviously looking forward to connecting with anybody who comes along.
Thank you so much, Alisoun. It was so great to have you on board last time. And I can't wait for more people to discover you and your work and just your energy, because that's one thing about live events. You can't really cheat with who you are and the energy you bring in when you meet people live. And so for those of you who don't know Alisoun, she's the compassionate business mentor, and she's an author, a trainer, a speaker. She's published two books, and you're working on the third one, I think it is, Alisoun?
One book, and I'm working on the second.
Second one. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so can you please share a bit more about who you are and what you do in the world?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I describe myself as the compassionate business mentor, really helping people to turn their passions into profits and make a difference in the world. So that's typically heart-centered business owners and social entrepreneurs and leaders who really want to go out and make the world a better place, and then bringing that down into, I suppose, the practical aspects. It could be people wanting to get more clients, generate passive income, or my big passion is to do all of that with social impact, so that we look at how we can support charities and social causes through our businesses and things. So that's what I do in my business. I live in Scotland, love traveling, and do a lot of humanitarian work as well out in Rwanda. And yeah, life to me is an ongoing adventure. So I don't like to say that this is who I am right now and I'll still be that in March, because no doubt something will have changed.
Yeah, and I love how you really live what you say and what your message is, because I feel that you have such a great balance between like work and play and having fun, and also really contributing to the world. Because our intention, Joanna Hennon and my intention for the next event is really to help people leverage their energy and their time and their money, and to have a bigger impact. And I know that for a lot of us, that also involves being able to be of more service to more people, and so that we're not the only one reaping the benefits of our blooming businesses. So I think you really embody that really well in such a down-to-earth, but really, it's really about stepping into more power, isn't it? And really seeing how we can contribute in really beautiful, loving, practical ways as well.
Yeah, definitely. You know, to me, it's about as soon as we have the courage to connect to our heart and step into our truth, and to really go with that and not be scared about what other people think, then we can start to look at the practical aspects of, so if I only focused on this and who I am and the wonderful gifts I've got, and how can I be more visible and be helping more people in the world through this, then that's when when things start to get easier, because we can start to eliminate the things that don't work with that. And yeah, you know, the personal life balance is really, really important to me, you know. I think you know that's between since the last event in March and now, you know, I've had 6-7 months out on sabbatical. I've had a ball. and yet there's still been money coming in because of the way I'd set my business up. You know, so it's really, really important to get the balance right and to be true to ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's why a lot of us create our businesses, so we can have time to enjoy traveling, being with our families, having a life. Because to me, if we create these super successful businesses, but we have no time to enjoy them, that is one way of doing business. But I find that it's like sacrificing something really important, our lives, in order to have successful businesses, and that we don't have to choose. There are ways to set up your business where you can work on many different levels, and you can bring in money through doing meaningful things and not be working all the time.
Yeah.
which is so important. And also it's going to be interesting because you're one of the speakers, and you've been mentoring Joanna Hennon and I and encouraging us and being such a great support person the whole time. And so many of you and the other speakers are going to talk about how you can leverage your time and money and energy so that you can have a bigger impact. And so that can be writing books, creating programs, maybe doing high-end offers as well. And I know that you're publishing your second book soon, and you've been really, really using that in your own businesses as well. So you know what it's like from the inside. And you've been in business for some time too. You're not a newcomer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been in business since 2003 now, and full-time and earning a good income since about 2008. And over there's been lots of different evolution of that business, because when we're in business, we might start off with one idea. Yeah. And then we change, we grow, but also when you're out speaking to people, you meet people that take you off in a slightly different direction as well, if you want to go there. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey, but a really good one. Really enjoyed it. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely been ups and downs. It's not all been the steady up. Yeah. Plenty of the moments of, oh my God, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? But it's continuing to hold on to that vision and having the strength to do that. But at the same time, it's the practical aspects of making sure we focus on what is going to actually bring us in money and not put too much pressure on ourselves.
Yeah, so great to focus on that. And I find it's a great way to get out of our own way and like, how am I going to do this? And I have to be visible. And when you focus on why you're doing business and what your vision is, I find it so much easier to focus on that instead of being too self-conscious or getting caught up in our own inner stuff, because then it's not really that much about us. It's about us being the messenger for something that feels much bigger than us, right?
Definitely. And it's amazing, isn't it, how our egos can just get in the way. Worrying about what people would think of us getting it wrong or making mistakes or making a fool of ourselves. And I'll never forget, there was one time, the woman I go to Rwanda with, I can remember she asked me to go along to an event in New York to help with the fundraising. And I can remember thinking at the time, this was an event that was for people who had earned their entitlement to be there by being top affiliates for a large organisation. And I'm thinking, I don't deserve to be there. It's just little me, and I've just got a little business, and all these little thoughts were going through my mind. And she said to me, Alisoun, she said, you're not doing this for you. You're doing this for the young people in Rwanda. And as soon as she said that, I was like, okay, I'm on the plane. And it was a phenomenal weekend that completely shattered so many of my misconceptions about, who I thought I was and who I thought successful people were. And, it was great. So.
Oh, that's such a great story, isn't it? Because it's like, we always think that someone higher up has it all together, and then we're so far from that, right? But we're still just people, and we're still struggling often with similar things, just not at the same level, but it's still the human stuff, right? And the business stuff and the life stuff, and it doesn't really change all that much, which is so great, because then it brings us closer to where we want to be, right? When we meet people who are there.
Yeah, totally. And I think the thing I loved about your event last year, completely loved it. That I have been to loads of events because I totally believe in going along to live in-person events. And I've gone to quite a number in the States and in different places, like around London and things as well. And for me, living in Scotland, that both of those involve travel. But going along to these events is what can really help us connect with people. But what you did so well, I think, that was so different was the way that we all connected at a deep heart level. In most other events I've been to, not all of them, but most others, there's been a lot of egos. And certainly in America, there's this whole sale thing that doesn't quite work in the UK and Europe in the same way. And what I felt, as well as obviously meeting you and Joanna and all the other amazing people there, it was a deep sense of connection, there was so much valuable content shared and brilliant special conversations, but we all were just equally there and fully present for each other. And it was such a unique experience. I have never experienced at any other live event. And that's what I think made it so special. And I know, you know, for me, but also for everybody else there. And there were people there that obviously were just starting out in business or were even unsure what their business was going to be, as well as people running successful online global businesses, you know. So
oh, thank you, Alison. That's so kind of you. It's true that it was like this instant, really deep soul connection. And I loved how everyone was really sharing from the heart, because it's so easy to maybe feel like you don't really have your place in a group like that, especially if you're not really that successful in your business yet, or you don't feel super confident. But it was like everyone just saw everyone else with so much love. And there was like really that like really inclusive and heartwarming. And I loved how all the speakers and everyone who attended was like just these instant connections, and it wasn't like the speakers and then they go off and do their thing and then we were like, it was just really, really, really warm. And I've noticed there's so much generosity. I find like all the speakers and everyone who contributed with like their experience and examples, and like people brainstorming in the hall, and it was so very, very inclusive and very warm and very loving. And it feels like we went really, really deep in such a short time, because most of us did not know each other from before.
No, that's what was amazing. And it wasn't necessarily that you had sessions that were designed specifically to facilitate that. It's just what happened because you attract just such an amazing audience, you know?
Yeah, it was such a beautiful group. I love how we really co-created that together. It was just so wonderful. And that's really interesting as well when you want to do business in a heart-centered, soulful way, and do the energy work and do everything that, well, you know, what all the stuff that involved a lot of inner work for Joanna and I before as well, to really bring that in so that we could really show up and so that everyone could really do what they came here to do. And then we had so much support from you, from the other speakers, from people attending. It really felt like a collaborative effort somehow. And it felt more like a sacred women's circle with one man than like an event. And the thing is, I noticed that when someone talks about what they do in a genuine way, because they want to share from the heart, you want to buy from them. They don't have to sell, right? Because you do that so well, where you just share and you share your visions, and you made us cry and laugh. And it was really, really lots of emotions as well, very touching. And then it's like you don't really have to sell. You just have to kind of offer what you do. But it's a really different way that I find really, really works for heart-centered entrepreneurs who don't feel good doing sales in a traditional way. And I think
yeah, definitely. You know, and to me, I mean, I know that last year I was talking about the compassionate sales formula and all about how to sign up clients and to sell by just being kind. You know, my mantra is sales is an opportunity to be kind.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think the fact that we, you know, as speakers, we were all encouraged that it was just to be, you know, to be there, to share our message. There was absolutely no selling whatsoever. And you're right. You know, people who liked us would come and ask more. There's no need for it, you know, and it's whether or not we're a speaker. That applies to anything we do, anytime we interact with any of our potential customers, for any of us. If we just offer to help, if we just share our experiences with other people will come to us. If our energy that's being presented is authentic and true, and they like us. So yeah.
That's true. And also when you meet people live, it's such a different experience, because then you really see what people are like all the time, not just when they're doing a video, which I find, I mean, I love the online world, but you don't always really know, right? And I love seeing how people interact, you know, what they're like when they talk to the waiters, or when they sign in, or in the breaks in between, because you can't really fake that stuff. You know, right? And that means, and I noticed that now when people ask me about, you know, do you know someone who does this or that? Like, it's so much easier to recommend someone who came to the event, because I know what they're like, and I know who they would probably resonate with when it comes also to their energy and personality, which is also a big deal, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I can remember going along to some events where, and some, I can remember the New York event especially, there were 2 or 3 people there who I just had on a pedestal completely before I went. And then I can remember going to the event and going, oh my God, you are a really mean, nasty person. And that doesn't come across in anything I ever see online.
No.
You know, and it was exactly what you said. It was the way they were interacting. It was the way they were treating people when they weren't on camera. Fascinating. And you're right, that is absolutely the value of going on to meeting people live and just seeing and watching is, and you know, we were all going out, you know, we would go to the bar together and we'd go out for meals together. You got to see people in all sorts of different ways, and as people were having aha moments as well as being challenged by different things, so you got to see how people really interacted and gelled and supported one another or not.
Yeah, and that was really beautiful as well, because I feel like it was very everyone was allowed to be who they were, and they were allowed to feel whatever they were feeling, because it wasn't one of those events where it feels like everyone had to be perfect and have their act together. On the contrary, because when we go to these live events, it also brings up a lot of our stuff, right? So as much as we can see the brilliant things in us, we also see where we're holding ourselves back. And I really loved how everyone was really supportive of that as well. I think we probably cried as much as we laughed, which is so real, right? It's so real. It's not just presenting something. It's like really showing up fully as you are.
Yeah, and not being scared to present our vulnerabilities, you know. Whenever I'm training and speaking, I say to people, you know, there is no such thing as a stupid question. You know, if we're feeling uncomfortable, that's us just about to push through a comfort zone. If we're confused, ask questions, because again, that will move us forward. And not being scared to do that, because especially at a live event, and I know some people watching this might be more introverted and be sort of like, oh, I'm really not sure about going along to live events. And I know with some live events, they can be quite in your face and all very rah, rah, rah. And even as somebody who likes social events, you know, I can be pushed, but you know, sometimes I just think, no, that's too much. So I can imagine for people who are far more introvert, that would be challenging. And I think what you do very well at your events is and I suppose it's co-created with everybody there. It's about creating that safe place, that it's okay to be vulnerable, that it's okay to not participate in the moment, to go away and think about things and then come back in with a question at another time. And there was plenty time for us to have conversations outside the actual planned presentations, which I think is also important. Because some people do need to go away and reflect and want to have private conversations rather than in front of a group. And that just worked beautifully.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Alisoun. Yeah, because we really, really wanted everyone to feel welcome and to feel like there was a space for everyone, because especially for people who are very sensitive, because it's a lot of energy and a lot going on. So there's definitely lots of space to go away and process, and there's no obligation to attend everything either. And that was really nice too, because I know for some people that can be a lot. Like so it's definitely for everyone who feels the call to go. And the truth is, many of the people who showed up didn't really know why they were there. They just felt like that pull that we sometimes feel when our intuition is saying, go to that thing. You won't know why, but you'll figure it out, kind of, which I think is great, because it's always pulling us towards something that feels slightly uncomfortable, but that we can stretch into, right?
Yeah, definitely. So
wonderful. And so I would love for you to maybe touch a bit on your topic, because you're going to talk about giving to profit and how to grow a business by supporting charities and social causes. So can you tell us a little bit more about that, Alisoun?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is all a bit of an accidental focus for my business. I mentioned earlier that I do humanitarian work in Rwanda. And when I started off, obviously doing that kind of work, to fund yourself, you know, a lot of fundraising is involved. And for me, I was at a point when I was building my business, you know, and I didn't have time necessarily to dedicate specifically to fundraising and my business. So I just did what I thought was natural, which was, well, why don't I do some fundraising and do it through my business? And that's what I did. You know, I started off by making bracelets. that I would take along to networking events, and people would buy them, and that raised the money. And I mean, in total now, and I don't even know how much I've raised because we keep changing the landing page for it, but it's around $25,000, you know.
Great.
And a lot of that's come from the sale of these bracelets, which I'll bring some along with me to Brussels as well.
Yes. Beautiful.
But, you know, as I started to do that, and especially when I took these to networking events, I became known as the girl who goes to Rwanda. And I was asked to speak. I would be asked to go along. People started offering to do parties in their homes. At that point, I was also doing healing and tapping. So I'd go along and teach people tapping with my bracelets, and I could make £400 or £500, you know, in an evening for, you know, as fundraising. I thought, wow. And then I'd also get bookings for sessions. I was like, oh gosh, that's interesting. And the more and more I was doing things, I started to discover things like, you know, if I was running an event, people would be more likely to come along to it if it was fundraising versus free, or fundraising versus paid. And it was just, my focus the whole time was just all about how can I raise money for Rwanda. But my business was, you know, being aware of the fact my business was blossoming as well. So as people started to see this, they started to ask me, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How do you do what you're doing? And so for the last 2 to 3 years, I've been helping different people in that. I did think about running on, and I do have an online program, which I've paused at the moment, because actually the focus of how we can support charities and social causes is much bigger than just fundraising. And I also decided I'd present it as a book because it's a lower price point to make it more accessible to other people. As well as working with people on a consultancy basis for their businesses. So since that's one of the things I've been doing since March is writing this book. It will be published by the time I come to March in the event. I'm very excited about it. But so what I'm going to be talking about is really how we can grow our business by supporting charities and social causes. Some of that might be fundraising, but it's not all about that. So it's also looking at things like how we can source social suppliers. So that's really good. For instance, if we don't have extra money to spend, it's making smarter choices about the money we are spending, and how can we be sourcing people and having social impact through that. And I know that, you know, for so many people in your community, it's something that people love because they want to help and support social causes. So it's just looking at how you can do it in a way that saves you time, has more social impact, and can actually grow your business, and make you more memorable, make you more visible.
Yeah, I think that's so great, because I didn't think that you could actually blend it together like that. And that makes so much sense. And I noticed that so many of us who were at the event last time were like, oh, great, there's a way to do that. And because you have so much experience and you've tried, I'm sure, a lot of things, it's so great to be able to ask someone and to find ways that are easy. Because sometimes if it takes a lot of time or effort or money, then we keep, pushing it off, right? And thinking, oh, well, later when I have more of this or that, I'll do it, instead of trying to weave it into what we have now. And make what you've got now more compelling to your audience. And the other thing that I discovered, albeit not until I started writing the book, so I had no awareness of this for the first couple of years, is there's legislation all around the world on doing this. So if we in any way are marketing and supporting charities and social causes through our marketing, including things like saying I'm donating 10% of this to charity, there's legislation we have to comply with. And most people don't know that. So I will touch on that very briefly, but that's one of the things, that I cover in my book, to make sure that people are doing things in a way that isn't going to get them into trouble. Yeah, so important, right? Because sometimes we don't worry about that so much, but it's actually really, really important to keep.
We've got to remember we're taking money off consumers, and and we're representing in some ways that charities and social causes. So there's a reason for the legislation,
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's such a great point. Well, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to hear your talk. And I know you're doing like a workshop around this as well. So we'll be able to bring out examples. And that was also our vision for this event, to really bring it together. Powerful energy work with practical advice, and the inspiration, so that we can blend it all together and really come away from the event being able to use these things in our business right away, which I think is so important, because it's great to be inspired, but it's great to be actually to know what to do in your business afterwards, right?
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And so maybe one last thing for anyone who's like hesitating, who kind of feels the pull and wants to go but doesn't know, like, is it worth it? Is it worth the investment? You know, the money, time, getting out of your pajamas and actually going to a live event. Is there anything that you can share about, you know, the value of actually going to a live event like this in Europe?
Oh gosh, there are so many. And, you know, I know what it's like. You know, I live in Scotland. Coming to Brussels, unfortunately, isn't the easiest place for me to travel to. But boy, is it worth it. Boy, you know, and I mean, I'm somebody, we were talking about this before we started recording, weren't we? That, you know, I've invested in traveling to the States, you know, several times over the last few years, and traveling to different places. I'm off to Australia next year. This all costs money, you know. And the reason I do this is because to grow my business, I know that selectively going out and choosing events that are going to help me personally grow and to help me connect to people that I want to connect with, going out, and there's nothing like going out and meeting them and having that conversation. I mean, since last March, despite the fact I've actually been sabbatical since then, for most of the time since then, you know, I have got very close business partners who I am planning other things with now, which is brilliant. I've got, you know, somebody who's going to be helping with my, you know, my website side of things. I've got clients. I've been raising more money. You know, you guys have all helped me raise more money since the event for charity. So there's, and personally, and I don't know if you know this, Karina, but it really, really helped me consolidate what I really wanted to go out with, because I was at a choice point, if you like, in terms of where my business was going when I came to that event last, you know, at the beginning. When was it? 6 months?
In March. 6 months ago.
But so much has changed. So, you know, coming along to this event, if you're somebody who is serious about your business, you want to grow your business in a way where you have more visibility and impact rather than just in your local community especially. So if you're somebody who wants to, you've got a bigger message, you want to get out to more people, and you want to connect and build really good relationships with people over a short period of time, coming along to this event is just invaluable. And it's a great way, I think we mentioned it earlier, to meet people at all different levels of businesses and doing all sorts of different fascinating things that, even if there were new people in business, they're inspiring in different ways. You know, it's not all about status of business. It's about connecting with people that you like, building your network and reach, because you don't know who they might know. And you will build stronger relationships.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh, thank you so much, Alison. It's been amazing just to connecting with all these people, and I find that it's interesting to see how other people see you and the things that come out, and also introducing yourself several times, because when we work online as well, we don't get that in the same way. So I know that for many of the people who came last time, it's been like, what do other people see in me that I may not see myself, which is really inspiring, I find, because some of them, the people who came, they're now doing things that are very different from what they were doing. And it's been amazing to see all these people blossoming, and just, you know, reaching more people and really thriving in whatever they're doing. So it's just been massive, the transformation.
I think that's a very good point, Karina, that we've maybe not got across, because actually the transformational journeys of people that were at the event in March has been phenomenal. I cannot believe what some of the people on that, you know, that came fairly new in business with vague ideas, as well as others who had a slightly, you know, they knew what they were doing, but actually their business has therefore gone from local to global, and you know, they're traveling to different countries. It's just been phenomenal. You know, to watch that journey, and been amazing, because these people decided to get out their pajamas, decided to push themselves out their comfort zone. And it was a push, I know, for some of them, you know, in terms of not being sure about going along to an event and being more introvert. But I know that they got so much out of it. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was so inspiring, like way beyond anything I could have imagined. Yeah. And Joanna and I were like so thrilled to see everyone really getting so much out of it. Because that was one of our intentions as well, to really, that everyone who came would experience deep transformation. And that's a pretty big one, right? And it feels like everyone felt that and experienced that in some way in their businesses and in their lives. And also taking the opportunity to meet us in Europe, because there are a lot of these events outside of Europe. So this is really quite unique, and it's great to be able to meet people. And like, we've been like meeting outside of the event as well, because we don't live that far away, right? It's not like going to the US or Australia for big events. So yeah, so for anyone who wants to join us, we would love to connect with you, give you a big hug in person, and watch you transform your business from wherever you are now to where your big vision is. And so we're meeting in Brussels, Belgium on March 24th to 26th in 2017. And we would love, love, love to see you there. So thank you so much, Alice, and I can't wait to see you again.
I cannot wait. It's going to be a brilliant weekend. It's one of the highlights of next year already.
Oh, thank you.
I cannot wait to see you again, and everybody else that I've met before, but also all the new people that are going to be coming. So really, really excited and thrilled.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for everyone watching this, and see you in Brussels.